You're listening to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host, Mike Hendricks, and here we discuss topics on personal fitness, well-being, and elevation of mind and body. Join us as we help build and grow a community of real, elevated men and women. If you're currently feeling frustrated, flat, and fed up with life, or want to be a physically and mentally elevated individual, you're invited to join us each and every week here on the Real Elevation podcast. Welcome to the RE family and get ready to elevate your mind and body. Welcome to the Real Elevation podcast. I'm your host Mike Hendricks, and today we have another outstanding, informative and elevating show for you. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome all first-time listeners to the show, and be sure to stay to the end, where I will be sharing all our social media links where you can connect with us as we continue to grow the Real Elevation podcast community. Thank you very much. I appreciate your ears again. Going to have another wonderful, informative and inspiring show for you. Now, we know as we age, our bodies naturally undergo changes that affect our metabolism, things such as our muscle mass, also things like joint health as well. Well, these changes, you could say that they are part of the aging process. They don't have to define you. They don't have to limit what you can do. When you understand and address these changes, these adaptations, you can reduce the risk of these developing into bad or major chronic injuries, as many of the population will tell you they do. If you look at preserving your mobility, preserving your cardiovascular health, improving your muscle strength, you can continue to live a normal, capable, and productive and prosperous life. However, if you're ignoring these changes, they can lead to a huge range of issues. So if you ignore your cardiovascular health, it can have an impact on things such as heart disease, and put your risk at things like hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. Things also include things such as weight gain and joint pain as well. Each of these risks brings not only physical health challenges, but also impacts on our energy levels, confidence, and overall the impacts on our quality of life. Now, some of you listening may be able to relate to this. So this episode is all about helping you to take control and giving you actionable steps to stay healthy, strong, and resilient. So we're going to be talking about 4 key health facts you should know now you're over 45 and how to take action. So that's 4 key health facts you should know now you're over 45 and how to take action. So let's dive in. Health fact number 1, and that is hypertension. The risks increase with age. Now, hypertension, you may know, is high blood pressure, and it's natural that our blood vessels can become a little bit less flexible, a little bit less pliable, and blood pressure can increase, and that increase can cause issues. Unmanaged hypertension or unmanaged blood pressure can lead to things such as heart disease, can lead to things such as strokes, it can lead to things such as kidney problems. You may know people who have been in their late 40s, 50s and had these issues, and that's partly down to issues with their blood vessels and hypertension. So we need to be managing our blood pressure. Firstly, what can we do to make sure we manage it? Well, first of all, we need to check it. Many people have high blood pressure or hypertension, but because there are no obvious symptoms, people are just walking around first unaware. So the first thing that we need to do is check it. What is your blood pressure reading? We know that a normal reading should ideally be 120 over 80. Anything above 130 in terms of that systolic reading can be classified as high blood pressure. But we need to get it checked out. So when was the last time you had it checked out? Have you had it checked out recently? If so, is that something that you can do? Secondly, what can we do? We can also adjust our diet. We know that reducing things such as sodium in our diet, processed foods, if we're focusing on foods that are rich in potassium, like leafy greens, things such as sweet potatoes, they can also help us to balance our blood pressure in the right direction. We know that exercise, especially cardiovascular exercise, can really help. And we also know that mindful practices can be effective in terms of managing and regulating blood pressure. Things such as deep breathing or yoga, they can all help to affect our stress positively, thus having a positive impact on our blood pressure. So they're your action steps. So that's fact number one. You know the risk of hypertension that increases as you age. Number two, increased risk of heart disease. So number two, health fact is increased risk of heart disease. Heart disease risks increase as we age due to the factors that many of us fall into, unfortunately, and that is things such as unhealthy diets, stress in our lives, and maybe sedentary or inactive lifestyle. These are the leading causes that can lead to heart disease, and unfortunately, heart disease is still probably one of the world's biggest killers. So we need to think about avoiding those risk factors, such as making sure we're keeping our diet healthy as possible, making sure we're keeping active, and making sure we're managing our stress or stresses in our life as best we can. So, action steps, what can we do? Prioritize heart health through your diet and obviously exercise. Now, you're probably going to see there's a theme as we run through these different facts in terms of action points and what can we do. So, we need to focus on diet and exercise. Number one, can we adopt a healthy heart diet? So that's an air quote, something that you may have heard of in terms of a general term use, healthy heart diet. So what does a healthy heart diet look like? Well, it focuses on omega-3 fatty acids, fibers, and antioxidants. So these foods, these type of foods that produce these nutrients and minerals can be found in things such as salmon, so oily fish, mackerel, berries, nuts, leafy greens. They are all foods that can be found in that healthy heart type diet. So go away, do your research, find out exactly what you like in a healthy heart diet, and look to introduce those foods in your diet as often as you can. Regular cardiovascular training and strength training. That's step number two. Aerobic exercises don't have to be anything overly intense, so you can be doing things such as brisk walking or cycling or swimming. They all help to strengthen our cardiorespiratory system. Now, that also helps improve our metabolism and the way we can manage weight, but what we're focusing on is heart health. Can we get our system working optimally by doing cardiovascular exercises? And also, we know the benefits of strength training. It does exactly as it says on the tin. It helps the body to keep nice and strong and robust. What the other steps we can do? Action step number 3, we could look to limit the amount of alcohol that we have in our diet. Also, if we are smokers, that's something that we need to address. Alcohol, we know, increases blood pressure, so we need to minimize the amount of alcohol that we have in our diet. And we know that smoking has many detrimental effects directly on our health generally, not just cardiovascular health. So if we're limiting the alcohol and quitting smoking, we're going to be reducing our risk of heart disease. And number 4, similar to what we talked about before, when was the last time you had a checkup? A well woman or a well man plan is often a good idea over the age of 45, going to 50s and above. So check it out, find out exactly how your heart is doing. Go see your GP, see if that's something that you can schedule in and get an understanding of exactly where your heart in terms of how your blood, in terms of the profile is, look at the lipids, cholesterol, glucose, sugar levels, all that good stuff, and look at your heart. How is your heart functioning? Is it working well, or is there anything that could lead to something more sinister? Again, as I mentioned, with high blood pressure, hypertension, many people have it for long periods of time and unaddressed that way can lead to issues. So if we can, get a checkup, find out exactly where we are. Health fact number 3, age-related weight gain. We know, it's a fact, that our metabolism does tend to slow down as we get older, which can lead to weight gain if we're not being proactive with it. We know also that extra weight around the midsection can increase the risk of certain metabolic type issues, such as becoming insulin resistant, type 2 diabetes, and obviously that can impact on the way we see ourselves, which obviously impacts on our self-esteem. So what can we do to reduce our risk of weight gain? Action steps. We can eat a nutrient-dense, balanced diet. So focus on protein foods, lean meats, legumes, things such as eggs as well. They will help to preserve our muscle mass, and they will help us maintain a good, strong body composition. So look to have a nutrient-dense, balanced diet. Minimize that refined food, minimize that processed food. They're foods that are not really doing any good for you. We can set ourselves a daily movement goal. So keeping ourselves physically active. Now, we heard me talk about the importance of keeping yourself active, but I don't want you to think that it's something that you have to become addicted to, that you have to be doing it every day, 2-3 hours at a time. It should be an activity or activities that fit seamlessly into your everyday life. So going to pick up the kids, going to work, going for your social engagements, it should be something that you can naturally do. So things like many people do is walking dogs. That's a natural physical activity, or going to an aerobics class, or going to a yoga class. These are the things that should be part of your daily routine. And if they're not, you need to think about ways that you can start to integrate it. Action step number 4, sleep hygiene. What is your sleep like? We know that if we're not sleeping well, we're anxious, we're highly stressed. That can impact on our ability to maintain or gain or manage our weight. So we need to make sure that we know that we're going to bed and getting up, having a good night's sleep, feeling refreshed, feeling revitalized, feeling re-energized. Because again, if we're getting disrupted sleep or we're not getting consistently good sleep, that can impact on our ability to manage our weight effectively. So there are 3 action steps that you can take when it comes to minimizing your risk of age-related weight gain. So today we're talking about 4 key health facts you should know now that you're over 45 and how to take action. So number 1, we spoke about the importance of hypertension that increases with age. So we need to be aware of that now that we're over this age of 45, going to 50s or maybe older. Hypertension near increased risk, and take those action steps that we spoke about, including getting a regular checkup, knowing exactly where you are, introducing mindful practices. Number 2, we spoke about health fact was increased risk of heart disease. Again, once we're over the age of 50, going to our late 50s, the increased risk of heart disease becomes more and more apparent. So are we doing those action steps? So taking cardiovascular exercise, limiting the amount of alcohol we're taking into our diet, and if we're smoking, is that something we need to think about quitting? Number 3, health fact, we said age-related weight gain. We know that as we get older, metabolism tends to slow down, and it can be quite easy, and we've all seen it, for us to add a few pounds on. Again, if that's left unaddressed, it can lead to significant weight gain over the years. So we need to be making sure that we're moving our body, making sure that we're sleeping well. They're the action steps that we can take to minimize the risk of that age-related weight gain. And then number 4, health fact, that is increased risk of joint pain and osteoarthritis. Now, joint pain and stiffness are common. One of the reasons why you could argue is that as we get older, cartilage naturally wears down over time, and this can lead to osteoarthritis or some sort of joint pain if that's left unaddressed or nothing is done about it. And if you've ever seen or spoken to anyone with this type of issue, it can be really debilitating and restrict what you can do And no one wants that. So action steps that we can do to reduce our risk of joint pain or osteoarthritis. We can keep our body moving. We can eat supplements or take on supplements that's going to help us with managing our joint pain or reducing our risk of joint pain. If we do have any sort of joint pain or some mobility exercises and we do want to exercise, we can look to introduce some low impact exercise. So instead of going for a run, we could do things like using the cross training if you've got access to a gym, biking or swimming. These exercises or these forms of physical activity are much, much easier and take less toll and strain on the joints. So we can still work the body, but in a way that's supportive to us. We can also increase the amount of flexibility type exercises that we do. So improving our flexibility, mobility in the joints is really, really important to make sure we stay supple. We've got good range of movement in our joints. And again, minimize that risk of stiffness and soreness in and around the joint areas. So it's important that we give that body the opportunity to make sure it's got the ideal range of movement by practicing good mobility and flexibility exercises. We know you don't need me to labour the point, but strength training is key. If we want to make sure that we're minimising the amount of pain that we have in our body, we need to make sure the body is resilient and strong. So strength training is a key. And the other thing that may be overlooked when it comes to keeping our body low risk of developing things such as osteoarthritis and joint pain is keeping ourselves well hydrated, drinking those 2 to 4 litres of water a day, or 7 to 8 cups of water, of good clean water, keeping the body hydrated, almost like it's lubricating, although the water directly doesn't lubricate the joints, but keeping ourselves hydrated is key to making sure that we minimize that risk. Taking supplements as well can also help. So that's action step number 4. So there's 4 action steps, that you can take. As we spoke about, point number 4, health facts increase joint pain and risk of osteoarthritis, which we don't want. So there we have it. 4 key health facts you should know now that you're over 45. Now, question to you, did you know those health facts? Did you know that you're at increased risk? If you listen to this and you are getting towards that middle 40s or you may be even older, did you know those particular health facts? Get in touch, let me know. Second question, are you going to follow those action steps? So listen back, press pause, write them down, because these are going to be helping you maintain a good level of strength and minimize your risk. If you're in any of these situations that you find yourself in, whether it's a joint pain or you find yourself carrying a few extra pounds, or you've got low energy, or you find yourself in a position where you think, do you know what, I've not had my cardiovascular or my heart health checked out. The key thing here is, now you've listened to this, is that you take action. Don't ignore it, because it's key. We know aging is a natural thing. What we don't want to do is get old. Yeah, aging is a natural thing, but what we don't want to do is get old. And when I say old, I define it as being incapable of doing things because we're beyond our physical and arguably our mental potential best. So by understanding these health facts and taking action now, you can minimize your risk. Yeah, these steps are more than just good practices. They're essential for living a life and maintaining good health and vibrant energy, vitality that you want and the people in your life want to see as well. So prioritizing these 4 areas, these 4 steps, will help you be resilient, keep you energized. But as I said, it's down to you to take action. So I want to know you're going to take action. Get in touch with me. You can reach out to me on all my social media links. You can catch me on LinkedIn under Mike Hendricks. You can catch me on Facebook under Mike Bobby Hendricks. You can also catch me on Instagram under the handle Hendricks Holistic 44. So that's it for today. I trust you found today's episode insightful and inspiring. Take action, guys. This is very, very important. Until next time, remember, be cool, be calm, be well, be wise, and keep it real. Blessings and chi. Peace.